Big game tonight. England-Germany, a massive barrier in the form of the Germans to get past. This is a huge game. I was having a little read this morning. Jose Mourinho's done a piece in the Sun, which we will go through in a second.
Yep. And
he was basically like, look, this isn't a last 16 game. This is a semi-final. This is absolutely huge. Whoever makes it past this tie tonight should really walk straight into the final, because it's the slightly easier, more favourable perhaps side of the draw. But my goodness, the Germans to play tonight, this is massive. We want your songs really that make your England playlist this morning. So at TS Breakfast on Twitter, 81089. There's no other word for it, Ali. It's massive, isn't it?
Oh, what a game. What a game for England and for Germany. I think it's really, really tight. I think it's difficult to call. I said yesterday, one each. I'll stick by it. I do think if both teams play at their best, I think England just shade it. And you're right. Listen, but you're right to get excited about that side of the draw, but so is everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So is everybody else. You know, Denmark and Czech Republic. I mean, I know England beat them already, 1-0, but everybody's getting a little bit of momentum. We saw last night and yesterday in both games, because the well-fancied teams were Spain and France, and both taking right to the wire. Obviously, France getting knocked out. So, no, I think I can understand the excitement. I get it. But I would just be a little bit guarded, because there's still some good teams in the tournament.
100%. And what's been a crazy season of football, anything can happen. We know that. And you're right, results have shown that so far. Big game tonight. Let's go through the back pages with Tesco Mobile for Business and see how they're covering it.
The back page review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. Get your business mobile in the same place you grab your sarnie. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps. Terms apply. See tescomobile.com/terms.
As you'd imagine, England are dominating all the headlines this morning. Back of the Mirror says we can be heroes forever and ever. Telegraph's gone to Back to the Future. England has switched to a 3-4-3 as Grealish and Saka miss out. Back of the Mail this morning, time for heroes. Kane ready to roar as Gareth tells England to seize the day. And the Sun says for Gaza, for Sir Bobby, for Psycho, Chrissy Waddle, for Frank, for Eltel, for the fans, for Gareth, win it and be remembered forever. So ahead of a big clash tonight, huge clash against Germany. It's live on talkSPORT. It's at 5 o'clock. Gareth Southgate, he's been speaking with the media and he's told his players to become legends.
Well, I think every time you pull an England shirt on, you have the opportunity to score a goal that will be shown forever, to create a bit of skill or to be involved in a match that lives in the memory. And that's the beauty of playing for your country. You know, I think if you think of all the big players in history, of course, club European football, there are significant memories, but when you picture those great players, it's normally in an international shirt that their biggest memories are formed, and that is the case every time you pull on an England shirt. So it is an opportunity that few get, and these lads have earned it, and I'm sure they're going to relish that. Okay,
Ali McCoist, you are Gareth Southgate for the moment. You've got some big decisions to make. Back 4 or back 5 against the Germans, who've been playing a back 3, haven't they?
Yes. I'm just thinking, do you match up against them? You could absolutely could match up against them, and it probably wouldn't be a bad idea, because I think the two in the middle could win it for England. You go with Rice and Phillips. I just think they might be have too much energy for whether he goes England, beg your pardon, Germany go Goretzka or Kroos or Gundogan. I talk about them leaving Gundogan out, so you could match up. You've hit me with it. I'm going to have a think about it. I'm not going to nail my colours to the mast right now, but it's a very important decision to make.
Does it show in a way an insecurity if you're kind of switching what you've been doing for this team, or is it the smart thing to do?
Yeah, you can look at it both ways. I don't think it's insecurity, that's for sure. Gareth, if he does switch to the same as the Germans, it won't be through fear, because I get it. I've just said, you know, if England play really well and Germany play really well, I think England win the game. So therefore, with that thinking, I probably should and would switch to match them up. Because effectively, you match them up and you play better than them, you'll beat them. So, it's a tough one. It really is a tough one. You know, has he got enough forwards and these forward-thinking players? You know, I'm looking at one of the teams in the Sun, and they've gone Pickford, Walker, Stones, Maguire, Trippier, Phillips, Rice and Shaw. So straight away.
So no Mings. No, so they've literally, have they stuck they've stuck Trippier on the left, did you say?
They stuck Trippier on the right, actually.
Oh, and Walker's in a back 3.
Walker's in the back 3.
Interesting. Who's on the left? Who's the left wing back?
Shaw.
Now,
the only thing I would say is, what's that? Taking away your goalkeeper, it's 7 defensively kind of minded players.
Isn't it?
You know what I mean? It's a lot of defensively minded players. You've only got 3, albeit Sterling, Kane and Foden.
And you've got the 2 in front, Rice and Phillips.
You know, so I mean, that's, have you got enough forward thinking players on your park? You know, you know, there's no Mount there, no Shotty, no Grealish. No. I would like to get another one forward thinking player in my team against the Germans, whether it's a Grealish or a Mount.
We have this conversation, don't we, every time we look at the lineup for England and we talk about those players that we want in, and obviously everybody wants to see the exciting players on the pitch. Why wouldn't this be a game for the likes of Grealish and Saka? I
don't know. Is the answer to the question? I don't know. The only way that if he doesn't play them, it's clearly because he's going with a little bit more experience. Sterling's going to start, Kane's going to start, clearly. And fair play to Sterling for making himself an out-and-out starter now, because there's question marks before the tournament started. Of course there were, and his answer to the critics was scoring the goals. So, and defensively, England look fine and have been fine. I don't think there's any doubt that this is the first time they'll be playing an opposition who will create more and get forward more, and I include Croatia in that, who I did say were growing into the tournament. We saw yesterday that they were continuing to grow into the tournament. Brilliant going forward without Perisic. But Germany will provide a completely different threat, I think, in forward areas. I actually think the German side, you know, with perhaps Werner coming on later on, will be a big threat with the pace, where it's against Maguire and Stones. I think Werner, you know, late on in the game will be a big threat.
What happens when it's a 5 o'clock kickoff and you're waking up in the morning? Because the last time we played,
your clock's away a wee bit.
Your what?
Your clock. Is that what you're going to ask me, or are you going to ask me something else? Go on, tell me you're going to ask me something else.
I'm just going to say the late kickoffs, because when it was the 8 o'clock one, as fans, you know, the longer the day goes on, the more nervous you get about it. So as a player, when it's the later kickoffs and you wake up in the morning,
I prefer a later kickoff.
Do you? Why? Why is that?
Because you can get a kip in the afternoon.
Does everyone do that though? Does everyone have a kip? Or?
Well, everyone will go to their beds and go to their rooms and rest. You know, absolutely, and just clear the head, 100%. I much prefer an 8 o'clock kickoff than a 5 o'clock kickoff as a player. Because you got up in the morning, you'd have a breakfast, you'd whatever you do in the morning, Gareth would maybe take them out in the pitch and just go over set plays, just walk through some things. Certainly go for a walk, stretch your legs. I would probably take them out in the pitch just for an hour. Go over throw-in, set plays, corners, free kicks, a whole bit. Back into the video room, do a little bit, and then lunch, and then get to bed. 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon. Brilliant. And then you're up at, for an 8 o'clock kick-off, you get your pre-match about 5, 3 hours beforehand, something light, and then you're away. At 5 o'clock, do you know what I mean? It kind of throws the clock.
Yeah.
Maybe some guys would prefer it, you know what I mean? Everybody's different. But I would definitely prefer an 8 o'clock.
Okay. We were asking if you're starting 11 today. Werner can't hit a cow's bum with a banjo. I don't think that's what you meant, though, is it?
No,
in terms of it's not necessarily his goal threat. It's what he. And I'll be surprised.
I'll be staggered if he gets on the pitch with a banjo. To be fair to him, I was more concerned about his pace. Yeah.
And who let the cow in?
Yeah. Exactly.
God's sake, guys.
For security, there was serious breach of security at Wembley.
Is that a test?
There's a cow on the pitch. Never been a cow on the pitch. Werner's playing the banjo. You know what I mean? It's something not right about it. You know what I mean? And I think whoever's setting that one in has missed my point a little bit.
I think he missed it. I mean? But anyway, I'm glad that we took your point literally.